I benefit from a change of scenery, it's always inspiring. I'm the kind of performer who gets lost on stage. I can tap into this soulful haze. I got depressed so many times by my blue-collar life and self-conscious about the fact that I didn't go to college. I was always working super low-end jobs, being the complete opposite of what I wanted to be. The last blue-collar job I had, I was 29. Even Childish Prodigy, I had a day job that whole time. Those early ones, they feel like psychedelic, blue-collar records. Especially God Is Saying This to You, there's such urgency in that album. I really like Cold Cave. My family was always playing music, I always enjoyed it. My cousin, who is a little older than me, he started playing music, so I wanted to, also. I asked my dad for a guitar, and he got me a banjo, so that was my introduction to playing. I played it like a guitar. I had a few lessons, learned out a few chords, and figured it out right away. Some people are so sad that, at times, that's what gets on my nerves, if they just hammer the doom, with no comic relief whatsoever. I feel like if you sit down and have an assistant engineer and a producer in a top-notch studio and everyone sets up all the mics perfect, all of a sudden it's really hard to live that melancholy song. It's hard to really live it in the moment. Finger-picking, in general, is a hypnotic thing. I feel like I'm more ADD all the time, so the music has to be hypnotic. My dad's really funny. The male sense of humor, like my grandfather's and such, is pretty bizarre. Basically my dad's side of the family is where the bizarreness comes from. It's a little goofy and a little out there. Australia is a wild place. Cigarettes are the worst thing in the world for you. I'm not cynical, but the reality is that life is mortal. Terrible, sad things happen. Everybody loses friends and family. I'll be on tour and get really scared if my wife won't answer her phone within 1 minute. I'm sensitive. Influence is all osmosis. I've always been a music fan. I played trumpet. When I was in 4th grade, we were getting demos from the music teacher about different instruments we could play, and I said I wanted to play the trumpet right away. It was easy, it just had 3 valves. I actually often write about writing music and being in that zone. I'm the kind of person who will set time aside to do something and then do everything but that thing. A lot of getting a song done is booking the studio time. I write a lot when I'm feeling bummed, but other times, you get locked in, and it's totally personal. If you're really low and writing, you're not thinking about anybody at all. I've got an amazing family. My wife is really smart. She's guided me the whole way. With children, you see them grow up, so it's like you're forever young. They are totally innocent and so unjaded. Watching them grow up makes you go through it again yourself. I get to come home to my family. It's awesome, just constant adventure, never a dull moment. So much life. I'd say the best thing the Violators and I have done is to dominate the US with an arsenal of smash hits. There's too many favorite songs, so I'll just say right now my favorite song of all time is Poison by Bert Jansch. I like New York, I like Philly, I like San Fran, I like when people are stoked, but Chicago's a real music town, and they're really good to us there. There's just something in the air there. People are just really stoked about music. Every time I go there, I have a great time, and the fandom is really heartwarming. When I was a teenager, I was mostly getting tapes and CDs, and somebody hipped me to the fact that you can get things on vinyl that are not necessarily available on any other format. I've always been a deep sleeper, because I come from such a large family. There are 10 kids, I could sleep through anything. Even with my last day job, I'd sleep in later and start coming in an hour and a half late. I got fired twice before I really got fired. I've been known to just pass out instantaneously, like, anywhere. People do get mad at me for falling asleep sometimes, and it's the most frustrating thing. I can't help it. What am I gonna do? My cousin used to make fun of me for liking stuff like C+C Music Factory. I didn't have any tapes, I just liked their song on the radio. We liked that because that was what we had access to. When I was 20, I moved up to Boston with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. She went to grad school, and I met a bunch of cool friends there. Around '93, the radio started playing Loser by Beck and Cut Your Hair by Pavement, and then I got way into Pavement. That was kind of a gateway drug into indie rock. I got all their B-sides, and I got that Hey Drag City comp, so I got into all those Drag City bands. I think, She Drives Me Crazy is hilarious and good. People can have their punk ideals, but I don't really care about that kind of thing. All of my surroundings influence my songwriting. It's autobiographical, although I leave enough space so it's relatable. I go in and out of mental funks all the time, 'cause it comes with the territory. I think that I identify with Philadelphia for a lot of reasons. Without even thinking about it, I called myself Philly's constant hitmaker when I first got a MySpace, before I had any real hits. It was kind of just a funny slogan, basically lifted from the Rolling Stones' first album, England's newest hitmakers. Anybody that's from somewhere that's made it in music outside of New York or LA, if it's a unique enough place, they'll always say, dudes from Minnesota, or wherever, you know, so that's how I got the Philly connection. I walk around a lot. People come up to me and say, hi, but not that often. I mean, I get it plenty often, but sometimes I wish they'd come up to me more. I mean, I'm just a regular guy. I can be chill. That's a side of me that I like. But then, I can also be not so chill. I can get a little stressed out. Street Legal is like a cult classic. It's pretty cheesy at times, but you learn to embrace it. I always sort of liked Mesa/Boogies, but I wasn't sure if they were cool or not cool. I've developed this routine at home. I wait for the kids to go to bed, then my wife falls asleep. Then, it's dark and quiet enough for me to work on songs. Everybody goes up and down throughout their lives. My music has to be funny and sad and happy and loving. It's gotta have it all. When somebody's just too dark all the time, it's just drama. Or if somebody's too funny, well, I like being too funny sometimes. Smoke Ring was a downer, then Waken was an upturn. Love is intense, and sadness is intense. Life is mortal. There are all these rewards and consequences. Sometimes you embrace them, and sometimes they knock you over. I like the idea of having money. My favorite kind of song is the most beautiful song that you love so much and it's so good it makes you want to cry a little bit. Any jam can sound like that on a certain day. I had a wacky job driving a forklift for an air freight company. That was the worst. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.